So I had a professor once tell me and our whole neon class that we're in the business of phenomenon. I didn't if we didn't see a sense of wonder in, then no one would find wonderment from what it is that we're researching. So research phenomenon, he'd explain, and then he'd say, have mercy. It's taken well over a decade to fully appreciate his pleas, and I always misread his pronouncements as coach-like encouragement to take pleasure in the process. And maybe it was that. And this morning I'm sitting in the studio and there's silver leaf kind of dancing on the floor and layers of translucent plants that are building into tangled mess on the table. And there's these skeletal monument, mummified faux greenery, which I've hidden away because I don't know what they are yet. Anyway, faux greenery that are now white. As I look around and then I see these frozen gestures in a mess. And I believe in these gestures. I'm trying to save something, or maybe build something to be saved. Mom and grandmother taught me to can, kind of. They did it, and I took occasional interest. I liked the results, not so much the process.
I understand that.
Canning is clumsy and messy process, but you're left with so much potential. I especially remember the sweet things, watermelon pickle and apple butter, candied and crystallized and basically jarred happiness. And then I'm sitting here and I wonder if these piles of translucent leaves say that. Do they promote wonderment? Are they studies of phenomenology? Are they jars of happiness? So those are kind of like the ideas that are circling in my head when I'm thinking about these things. So if they feel sterile and frozen, it's because I want them to be. You know, I'm really trying to take a gesture in a moment and freeze it and make it kind of clinical or make it into something that it wasn't. And so these drawings are just, right now, I don't know where they are, but they're all in a sketch form, and this is kind of what's circling inside my brain when I'm thinking about it. And so I think about drawing in glass really similarly. I draw in glass. That's been my process for about 20 years now. And so when I'm doing that, I'm really trying to think about like what that gesture is doing and then where that thing lives and how it lives in whatever world that I'm creating for it. And so what the context is and why I would make that context. And so a lot of it's based on like memory or thinking about something that's like super specific, you know, like a still life that's made to look like a plant that was in my mom's house, or you know, like these gestures where I'm taking like really abstracted forms and trying to think about like, is it like this frozen moment? Is it celebrating the thing that makes it of interest to me? You know, so the other night, you can probably see it if we turn the light on. There's this like, out here, there's this really tall weed that's growing right in front
those things are crazy.
of the stone wall. Yeah. And so then I did this, and then I did that. And so I'm just trying to like see which iteration is the thing that like best distills the moment that I'm thinking about when like we're sitting outside staring at that. And so I'm just trying to like capture like a minute and then freeze it. And so that's what I'm doing.
So that's almost kind of film-like in a way.
Mm. Yeah, it's narrative based for sure.
So it's sketched on to a window, so it's like window tint, like frosting.
Oh yeah, no, those aren't glass. Those are just like, it's meant for like, you know, privacy screening.
Yeah, so it's like privacy screening that you would put on a glass window.
That's cool.
And then the glass work itself is really is drawing in space. So it's like little thin rods, like 1 and 2 millimeter thick rods that are bent, sort of bent like neon signs and bent into shapes, so that they're drawings.
And would you say this is all?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How long have you been here?
Since Sunday. We got here Sunday. Yeah.
Is this all the same moment? Like
No, they're
these
totally
are different.
Yeah. So and then sometimes they're amalgamates, right? So like this, for instance, like this negative
So I
space
really like,
is
yeah.
one thing, and then all of the things that make up the positive are a different thing,
Huh.
right? And so like these are being like, these are outlines of like weeds that are around
Yeah,
the perimeter.
Uh-huh.
And then like this is like a bigger gesture. It's actually the same.
Oh,
Haven't really
cool.
figured out what I'm going to do with it. So this is then repeated here.
Yeah,
And then it's like a little bouquet inside
yeah,
of the
that's
wreath.
really cool.
So the silver, what is?
It's silver leaf.
Okay.
So this is, so this is silver leaf, this is gold leaf, and then this is window tint. So like I said, I play with materials a lot. Like, glass working, like in my graduate degree, we were in the Department of Materials Studies. And so I really feel very strongly about material meaning. And the weight of the line in gold leaf is different from the weight of the line in ink, is different from the weight of the line in window tint. So it all so right now I'm just kind of playing with materials and seeing which one communicates best.
It's different surfaces too, right?
Yeah.
And so the in this instance, the silver, what does that convey in the narrative or that particular moment?
Well, in that one, I'm trying to frame the bouquet behind it and push the bouquet. Like, so in this one, it's like kind of formal, right? Like that is acting as the silhouette that you look through. And so in this one, it's acting more like the mark on the page that you're paying attention to. But what I like about leafing in general is that it comes in and out of focus. And so depending on where you're standing, you get a really different view of this. This can look in low lighting like just ink on a page, really flat. And then in highlighting, you'll get like a hot spot, and then you won't be able to, it'll like obscure
Maybe
the
we
other
can-
part of it.
Can we
And
turn
so-
off a light here? Maybe see? Is that Camille?
Yeah, right behind you.
Oh, this one here.
So yeah, it will.
You want out?
Dim it.
Or dim it?
Yeah.
See what happens.
And when you lifted it
Yeah,
up.
when you
the
lift
wall-
it up, you
Oh.
could see it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
that's
it really
cool.
changes the dynamic of it just based on kind of what the lighting scenario is. And I like that about leafing. Same with this one. Like, that'll be so obstructing if it's in a highlight situation. If you put that in the sun or something, it really like makes the page
Oh, yeah, I
feel
bet.
not as white. And so it just, I play with kind of, and what I like to do is kind of think about how these come together with these overlapping. So this like really subtle, translucent white on top of something else, and kind of figuring out where that'll go. So that's why those are still over there, not on a page yet.
Move against this, yeah.
Sarah, how are you applying that gold leaf?
So traditional methods, so you use
Sideways, yeah,
Oh, okay.
sideways.
so
Yes,
it's,
yes,
I'm
see, you
just,
can really
I'm-
see it.
Yeah.
You can
I'm
really see it.
using a brush to apply the adhesive and then letting the adhesive dry and then leafing it and then sealing the leaf. So it's a kind of ridiculous process. Yeah.
You use sheets of gold leaf?
Yeah. Yeah. So this one's fake gold because it's huge, but yeah, and like so
Oh, wow.
glass working. This goes back to glass working. So glass is compatible with both gold and silver. So you can roll glass in gold and it won't affect the glass. And so I just kind of got used to having it in the studio because it works with glass really well. And it does the same thing. Like, so the reason why you put it in glass is to give the glass something to stop the light from penetrating
opacity,
and then reflect
yeah.
out.
Right.
And so that's, I kind of just have applied the same principles to the page.
I guess I'm surprised it works so well. I mean, glass is such a different surface and medium than paper, completely non-porous and everything. And I'm surprised it works so well.
My professor, when I was in grad school, he used to talk about like thinking like glass. So he would say like, you can use materials and apply all of the things you know about what glass will do and think about like how that material or how it might translate flat or how it might translate in some other way. And so he always used to say like, go to glass last because it's the thing you know the most. And so like if a solution could be better solved on paper, then do that. And then like if it has to be glass, then do glass. But if it doesn't, don't make it glass if it doesn't have to be. And so I always really appreciated that as a way of thinking and a way of framing how we make, because I don't think that like I can't just stop at one material and then have all of my ideas apply to that one thing. You know, and so this way, and this is obviously like a little bit more accessible, right? Like the studio is more accessible. It's easier for me to work on a drawing table than it would be for me to work behind a torch.
Oh, yeah.
And so it helps me clarify my thoughts a little bit before I turn it into
Commit.
glass. But yeah.
Y'all are an amazing pair.
I know, it's true. It's great.
Do
Thanks.
y'all ever collaborate? Do you ever do?
Kevin Costner? No.
Yeah, we did once.
one piece entitled Kevin Costner Told Me To.
Yeah.
And so we took audio samples from all of his films and then edited into a sort of a sound piece that we installed on the side of the gallery, so on the sidewalk, so people walking.
So what's funny about John and me is John like is cheeky and tongue-in-cheek and funny, but also like really minimal and quiet and contemplative. And I'm maximalist, like I'm always like more, and then I'll edit way back. And so we have such totally different processes that it's hard to collaborate, because like where I'm like all of the Kevin Costner movies, he's like just that one.
I think process is also
Yeah,
different.
totally.
You know, where her studio practice, you know, starts with play and works towards something. You know, where mine is a lot more like contemplative. You know, so it would involve more like reading or study, or you know, as a place to start, like collecting some things and figuring out what they are specifically.
Yeah.
I've tried to get more into play, more over the last few years.
He gets jealous when I'm in the studio because I'll be like, no, and they're like, how do you know what to do?
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing.
That's the point. Yeah, that's fun.
So yeah, just we have
So-
really different ways of
So
going.
you do the analytical after.
Yeah,
And
or
it does
during,
it- and
right?
it
Like
does it
so all of
before.
this is really slow.
yeah.
It's all really
Yeah.
slow process. So it's just like, you know, I'll be like cutting out plastic and being like, remember when Fred
But
was talking to me about wonderment? This is it. This is like, this is me really wondering a lot about, about this
So this
thing.
is good because that means
Yeah.
then you are here, right?
Yeah.
And he is here, right?
That's true.
And you have to walk.
Yeah.
But you know the end piece is the middle thing, so that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's
Perfect
true.
way
Yeah. Yeah.
because you have to meet halfway. So it's,
Yeah.
And I guess Kevin Costner's in the middle, or?
Yeah.
Should be.
Get going.
It's like a good aim. So yeah, the Kevin Costner thing was totally me. Like I was going through a weird Kevin Costner phase, and so when we had to like do this piece, we were invited to do this piece together, and like I had all these ideas, and then he had all these ideas. And we happened to be watching a Kevin Costner movie, so serendipity has it that Kevin Costner inspired us.
What movie was it?
Oh, I'm embarrassed to.
Oh, don't
What's the
worry.
one? What's the one where it's like
Waterworld?
he has an affair with all the 3 generations of women?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I remember
has
that
Rumor has
thing.
it, yeah.
It's like the worst of all.
With Jennifer Aniston?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was on a plane once and I was forced to watch that, and I
Slash
just,
So John,
Awesome.
Yeah.
which end of the spectrum are you when you're working? Are you playing, or are you sitting in a chair reading and planning?
I'm definitely a play.
Play.
I mean, everything I write starts a stream of
Yeah.
consciousness. I like to hear a line or something. But sometimes I'll do the same. You know, I like that. The last piece I read, I was doing a whole series of monologues where I would just pick a book, open it up, find a line, and then just like let whoever was speaking speak. So I have stories like a rodeo cowboy. I have a woman who's a mine manager in Wyoming. Just all these people come and speak, and I just try to let them
I
say.
think the 3 of y'all need to get together. Maybe you need him as your narrator. And
that's right. It's got the right voice.
Yeah.
Well, this is funny to me
that would
because,
be fun, wouldn't it?
yeah, These are plants, and the
Lock 'em
process you're describing is how a plant grows very slowly, and I don't know, in some weird
But
plant.
she's fast. She
Yeah.
wants the plant to grow. She's putting, she's putting grow, you know.
Miracle.
Yeah.
So
Oh, miracle grow,
just
right?
to get it to that point, so then I'll do something with it. Yeah. Force it.
That's cool.
Yeah, excited to see it starting to bloom now.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna go take more pictures.
You need this app
I do need that.
so
app.
that you can
Thank you.
somewhere write, work the name
Yeah.
of that plant in there
Mhm.
somehow.
That's
Because
good.
some of our plants down here are very strange with very strange
The
names.
orange one. What was
Yeah,
that?
so we went to Max Patch the other day, and all of the wildflowers are in bloom.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
And so
Oh my God, I should go up there.
we're trying to identify some of them because when we were in Mountain Lake, so Appalachian Mountains in Virginia, so right near Virginia Tech is where we were last summer. And they have this really interesting problem where they have like this crazy overload deer population. So the only thing left naturally is ferns. So it's forest.
Yeah.
Ferns are
It's
awesome though.
Stunning.
Oh,
Yeah, it's beautiful
But-
to look at.
Wow.
They have
Right.
all these fenced off areas where they're trying to like re-promote
Yeah, some
the
other
natural habitat,
Yeah.
and so they had
Let's see what happens.
some of the wildflowers.
So the place, it's a biological research station
Yeah.
for the
Oh,
University
yeah.
of Virginia,
Yeah.
is
Okay.
what it is.
And so we had seen some of the wildflowers there, and they were making such a big to-do out of this one that looks like the lily, that's like a lily orchid mix, that they're like this tall.
The one here, like the Carolina lily?
Yeah, they're orange, they're
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, and they're like maybe like a dozen
So
on
it's not a
one
lily,
shrub.
it's what's the name?
Isn't it?
It's more orange.
Is it?
You know, you got
It's
the
orange, and it like
What is the
and
name
it,
of
and
it?
it,
Straight
it
down.
hangs-
Turban?
And then
Turk,
The Turk's cat?
the Turk cat.
Yes, that's it.
The
That's it.
Turk cat. I
That's
knew
it.
I would get
And
it.
so
Thanks.
they were so proud that they had gotten one to bloom
Oh my goodness.
again, because it was the first year that they had gotten one to bloom when we were there last summer. And so when we were here this summer, we're driving up to Max Patch, and it's like lined
Yeah,
with
there's a
them.
lot of
We're like,
them.
oh my gosh, we have to tell Mountain Lake about this.
Oh, that's funny.
They're rotten with them.
And there you are with your shovel and your bucket.
They'll be so envious.
I just need a
You just gotta
few.
smuggle
Oh,
them back and bring them to
yeah.
a biological research station.
Yeah, on that side, they also have some flower to attract some of the butterfly and stuff.
Ah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
They did actually.
Certain
So
places, yeah.
they had, and then the other one that we were really struck by was the bee balm.
The big
Oh
one,
yeah, that's good in your tea, man.
So good.
Yeah.
Well, we went and got a field guide.
Oh yeah.
That was like the next stop.
Yeah.
On the way down the mountain, we're like, we need a field guide.
Because there was the orange vine as well.
Oh yeah, just the vine. It's no leaves, just orange vine. Do you guys know what this
Golly,
is?
I don't
It's like on the ground everywhere.
Have I
Parasitic
even-
plants.
Flower?
No flower,
No
just
flowers,
orange
no
vine.
leaves, no roots.
It looks
Just
radioactive.
an
I've never-
orange vine.
I'll take pictures. I'll go tomorrow.
I don't know what that is.
No.
That may be alien. You
Yeah.
may have encountered an alien.
No, it was
No,
in
it's
the
in
field
the
guide.
field guide.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Field
What's it
Yeah.
called? Oh.
Yeah, so we got a field guide to the North Carolina wildflowers. So, and that was in there. It was in the orange section.
Yeah, color-coded
Was
field
it
guide.
imported from China at some point?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't, yeah, I didn't
Probably.
read
Like
to see where it was
kudzu
coming
or
from.
something?
Yeah, yeah.
Or that scary plant that kills people. What was that thing?
Hogweed
Yeah, that thing.
Hogweed.
God, hogweed.
Oh, I heard
that peels your skin off.
Yeah,
when
it's
you're
horrifying.
subjected
They have it up
to
in
the
New
sun.
York.
that sounds like the
What?
1950s
The hogweed?
sci-fi.
It's true
I
though.
looked, I
Yeah.
saw that story and I looked it up and it looks just like Queen Anne's
Yes,
lace.
yeah, it does.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
but it's like 14 feet tall.
But it's huge. Queen
Yeah.
Anne's lace grows this
Yeah,
high.
yeah, yeah.
And this thing goes out like a reverse umbrella.
You ever heard
and
of giant hogweed?
10 feet tall. So that's how you know
I
it
have.
grows.
Apparently,
That's
New
good
York
to know.
State, like
Oh, really?
it's everywhere, and if you go near
Thank
it,
you, everyone.
it's like
Thank
a
you.
photosensitive.
Thank you.